is not a belt. Especially if we keep going higher and higher and higher and higher and higher, you're gonna hit a ceiling somewhere and it turns into a screaming. That was a mix. So today's exercise is gonna help you figure out how you can get into that mix and not feel like you're screaming up there. Hey singers, it's Lara from VoxTape Studios, an online singing studio where we help transform shy and aspiring singers into confident and authentic artists. Have you ever listened to certain songs and you're like, oh man, they are belting so high, I wish I could do that. I'm afraid to promise you they're not belting, okay? Like there's just a certain point in your range where you cannot go higher in a true chest belt. You have to let your vocal folds get thinner. As you go higher, they need to get thinner. It's physically impossible to stay thick up in those higher notes, and that's what a belt is, right? A belt stays thick in your vocal folds, and then when we move over into more of a mix, we let those vocal folds thin out so that we can go higher and higher and higher. So if you feel like you're hitting a ceiling in your range when you're belting, you're like, I just can't go higher than this. It just kind of like switches into a head or a very weak mixed voice. Then that means you did not let your vocal folds get thin enough to help you go up to those higher notes. So today's exercise is going to help you work on this mixed belt, if we want to call it that, right? It has belt-like qualities. It sounds like a belt, but you're actually mixing. You're letting your vocal folds get thinner. And I'm going to use All I Want It by Paramore for this, like I demonstrated at the very beginning of this exercise. We're going to start really high already because I don't want you to start in a belt and then have to transition. That's why we're starting this exercise really high already. So let's have a look at how the exercise goes. It's not hey, yay. No. Don't get louder as you go up in pitch. This is so important. If you keep getting louder and louder and louder, it's going to turn more and more and more into a scream. If we pull back on that volume, you're giving your vocal folds the chance to thin out. So just hey, yay. You can even do this hand motion to kind of like help you let go a little bit. And here, this whole thing, if you're trying to do it in just chest voice, good luck. You might be able to do it in this key, but we're gonna go up. We're gonna go higher from here. And eventually, if you're hitting that ceiling, you know you haven't let your vocal folds thin out enough. Also on you, we're not singing you. We're singing you, okay? So you gotta modify that vowel a little bit. And now you, that's gonna make you flip into a head voice. You ready? Remember, don't get too loud, don't push. I'd rather have you do it too weak than too pushy, okay? So be mindful of your volume. Let's do the exercise together. Here. Don't hold on to too much weight. here, don't get louder as you go up in pitch. Don't scream. All right, good. All right, well done. How are you feeling? Right now, if your speaking voice sounds different than it did before doing this exercise, that is not a good sign, okay? That means too much thickness, too much weight, too much volume. If you're feeling okay now, and you're like, okay, well, I used my voice a little bit, like you did a workout, but it's not like, oh my God, my voice sounds totally different now. That's okay, right? Like, it's like when you go to the gym, if you don't feel anything after coming home, then you probably didn't do enough to get better. It's the same with the voice. It's muscles that we need to train, but there's definitely a point where it's like, okay, that was too much. We don't want to feel that. If we feel like we did a little something, that's okay. If you feel like you did nothing, good for you. I know I feel like I did something. This is not an easy exercise for me to do. Maybe if you don't feel like you did something at all, maybe it was just a little bit too heady. So see if you can make it a little bit more powerful up there in those notes. Also, use twang, okay? In those super high notes, you have to use some twang. Otherwise, I don't know how you're gonna get that power up there, okay? If you wanna look at a twang exercise, check out this exercise right here. If you're currently feeling like this is impossible for you to ever get, I can very much relate because I was in that boat for the longest time because I just always hit that ceiling and I could not go higher than that at all. But once I figured out how to do it, I was like, oh my God, I can go so much higher in a powerful way than I thought I can. And it all comes down to having the right techniques. If you want my help to get you up there in a powerful way, just check out the link in the description box below to book a one-on-one session with me. I'd love to help you with your voice. Check out these videos next for some more vocal exercises, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you did indeed enjoy this video. Thank you so much for sticking with me, and I'll see you in the next one.